I turned 4 years sober this year, which means I'll turn 5 years sober next year, which means I'll have been sober longer than I was in active addiction. I was an alcoholic. If you know, you know. And I have done so much this year that I don't even think I would have made it to this year if I hadn't gotten sober. And I mean that wholeheartedly. My car accident is why I got sober. And I know for a fact that was a sign. It was like, you're going to die this way. And I've talked a lot about like my decision in getting sober. Like a lot of people ask me like, what was your moment? And I wish I could say that it was this grand epiphany, that it was this super intense moment that was powerful, but it was accumulation of those over the last 2 years of my addiction, where most of the time I was just like numbing it or trying not to think about it or feeling guilty about it or feeling shameful about it, overlapping with these good times, but also, and I use that loosely, good times, overlapping with these super powerful moments that were a lot easier to ignore because I would just drink. And even though my car accident was like the ultimate reason I got sober, there was no like, this is it, this is the time, this is what you do. I was just so exhausted that it more so came from a point of contention and weakness than it did strength. It came from like, I can't do this anymore. It might be worth it to see if life is worth living if I can successfully stop drinking. And I really gave myself no room to mess up. I really just was like, okay, if I'm going to change my life, I'm going to change my life. That means I'm changing like my living environment. I'm changing the things that are in my home. I'm changing the people that I hang out with. I'm changing the places that I go. And I did a full 180 like in that first month, but even more so as the time went on, obviously, about how I lived and living without alcohol. And I think that ultimately is why I was so successful doing it the first time. There was like a couple times that I tried to silently quit drinking or to stop drinking or to slow down, but I never really voiced it out loud or talked to anyone about it. This time is like, this is happening. I'm doing it. And I just couldn't bear to see other people bear for other people to see me fail. And I think that came from a place of pride and selfishness and maybe a little bit of a negative place, but for the overarching good of being sober. And all of this to say, like, I got married this year, I doubled my income this year, I have traveled this year, I have celebrated birthdays, I have shown up for people, I've had experiences that I never thought I'd have in a million years, and I am so grateful for giving sobriety a chance, because it truly gave me a life I didn't know that I was capable of having, that I didn't know I was allowed to have, that I didn't know I was worthy of having, that I didn't know was in the cards for me. It felt like it wasn't. Anyway, if this feels heavy on your heart at all, maybe take inventory and really like observe your relationship with alcohol and see if you can live without it and what that looks like. Because for me, it looks like the wildest of dreams that I hadn't even thought of coming true.